Being an Xbox fan is, I think, at the very least, a bittersweet proposition these days, right? So, you have an Xbox, you have this box, probably a Series X or an S, and okay, the box is pretty cool. There's nothing particularly bad about it, but Microsoft has, in theory, or in most people's minds, stopped completely supporting it in terms of, like, when we haven't had an update for this box in almost half a year. There's obviously a situation where even firmware updates or updates to kind of fix it. We haven't got anything for that. All their focus is on the PC, the cloud. In their first announcement for 2026 was cloud gaming on more TVs, right? So, I mean, that goes to show you that kind of stuff. But there's still the games, and I think, that's an important part of the equation. Obviously their games go everywhere, so that's not ideal if you're an Xbox fan. But, if you do have an Xbox and you're spending the almost $400 a year on, the rental service known as Game Pass, this is going to be at least somewhat of exciting news. And, again, I think it really kind of comes down to the individual and, what everybody's going to kind of decide on for themselves or whatever. So, it should be a fairly interesting situation. I'm excited about the games themselves. I don't know exactly what the future kind of holds for Xbox. Like, their moves seemingly aren't exactly the moves that would get me excited. But you guys might be completely different beasts than me, and we'll see if that's something that you guys can talk about or whatever. But for me anyway, that realistically we're kind of in this situation where and I hope that things work out for the best. But at least from a game standpoint, like I said, things are kind of going in the right directions. So that's something that all of us can, I think, be a situation where gamers are excited about what we're going to get in the future. So I want to get started into this. Let's talk about it. Let's go. So, I think obviously there's a lot of gamers out there that are kind of maybe holding out hope, and, I think that's okay, obviously. So, I mean, there is some good news here. Let's get into it. If you've been watching, a lot of people like the Fallout TV show. Maybe, I think it was maybe a misnomer by Microsoft to not have a Fallout game ready to go with that game, right? Like, you get all the hype for that stuff, and then you have nowhere to go on your main platform. It's kind of weird. But now it looks like there's some interesting news. Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas remasters are reportedly both in development. Better still, it sounds like they'll be getting the same coat of paint that the Oblivion remaster did, which actually turned out pretty well. If the reports are correct, we could be collecting new stacks of Fallout 3 achievements and Fallout New Vegas achievements in the future. It's currently unknown when exactly we might see them, but if you love a good romp through the wasteland and Bethesda's RPGs, then this could certainly be something to look forward to. The report comes from Windows Central Jez Gordon, a reliable source for insider information, who says we are eventually getting a Fallout 3 remake in the vein of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, as well as the Fallout New Vegas on top of that. Sure, the use of eventually sounds extremely far away, but surely we'll see some of these arrive before Fallout 5, which Gordon also suggests has been greenlit by Microsoft. Also intrigued by the Oblivion Remastered name drop, which, although struggling with a host of performance issues at launch, proved to be a spectacular remaster of the original game. And so I mean, that's interesting. It would be great to see a virtuous take on the Fallout 3 remastered, while Fallout New Vegas developer Obsidian Entertainment is in the perfect position to work on a New Vegas remaster, especially now that Fallout creator Tim Kaine has joined the studio. Last year, Obsidian dropped 3 games: Avowed, Outer Worlds 2, and Grounded 2, proving that it has the capability and capacity to juggle multiple projects. So a New Vegas remaster would surely be in safe hands. These are just rumors at the moment, and while Gordon is a reliable source, we suggest you take it with a grain of salt for right now. But I mean, that's not the only good news. I mean, listen, I'm not the biggest Fallout fan. Like, I couldn't really care less about Fallout games. I tried playing them. I did. I gave it the old college try multiple times. But, I just don't think that the Fallout games are for me personally. But it is nice to see, because I know that there's a big fan base there. I think probably for Microsoft, they saw how well the Oblivion remastered was selling, like on PC and PlayStation in particular, and they were like, hey, we gotta get some more of those out there, right? Because let's just be real, old games, people know it's like comfort food. You go back to them, you want to play them or whatever, and that's basically kind of what happens. I would say that it's pretty clear that stuff like Oblivion remaster sold much better than Avowed or Grounded 2 or Hi-Fi Rush. It sold incredibly well. And same thing with Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Those games would sell millions of copies across the platforms. So that's like easy money for Microsoft. So of course they're going to take that route. And people wondered why Sony was doing the whole situation where they talked about, hey, we're going to go to and do remasters and all this kind of stuff. This is why, right? It's stuff like this. These are the reason why you do it, right? Because you want to get the best of the best version out there, and we'll see what happens. I hope that it's something that they can continue to kind of do or whatever and get people amped up, but we'll see. That wasn't the only thing that was kind of teased in this update. Xbox Developer Direct is around the corner, haven't been confirmed by Microsoft themselves, and attention is turning to predicting and seeing what might actually show up. And Jez Gordon also talked about this. He was talking about through Windows Central, even adds his own disclaimer. He says he's not exactly sure it'll be shown this year yet. However, he certainly has his sources, and he goes on to claim that the four-pillar franchises seem highly likely, Fable, Forza, Gears, and Halo, while also mentioning that he's heard something a little more adventurous may show up as well. Quote, Microsoft has a lot in the chamber it can fire off potentially in the coming months, but the headliners are set: Fable, Gears of War E-Day, Halo Campaign Evolved, and Forza Horizon 6. Microsoft will show off at least some of these at the January Xbox Developer Direct show, which has become an annualized tone-setting event for Xbox's yearly lineup. While I'm not sure exactly what will be shown there this year, it seems like the four-pillar franchises will highly likely be shown, although I've heard one Microsoft more intrepid teams may be ready to show off what it's been making. That last point is particularly interesting because, as mentioned earlier, Dev Directs always contain a surprise, so could this be it? And equally, what title could be Xbox's more intrepid teams have been baking for months now. This is really hard to predict, but it definitely has everybody intrigued. Obviously, the four biggies are really exciting as well. Forza Horizon 6 and Gears of War E-Day, because we've seen so little of those two games in particular so far, as both, as Gordon has mentioned before, the info is by no means confirmed, but sounded like Xbox may have some interesting stuff going on there. So again, Fallout remasters coming. You have, obviously Gears, Forza, Fable, and Halo. It is the 25th anniversary of Xbox, so I mean, that's cool. My only downside is this, right? The 25th anniversary of Xbox should really be celebrating people who own a freaking Xbox, not a PlayStation, not a Switch, not a PC, an Xbox. And kind of the sad parts of this is how these things have kind of changed, and and how it's no longer about the quote unquote Xbox. It is an unfortunate situation, and I hope, I would love to see them just to go back and to be able to get the exclusives and stuff like that again. It's just really kind of a piss poor situation when that's not the thing anymore. It's not cool. It's not groovy. Whatever the case may be. I don't understand it. I said this yesterday on social media. Somebody was talking about how they're basically sucking up to Microsoft, going, all the biggest games are multi-platform, and using stuff like Call of Duty and Fortnite as backing for that. But not every game is Call of Duty or Fortnite, right? Like, what did Microsoft gain by putting Gears of War on PC or PlayStation? Nothing. Didn't grow the franchise. Doesn't have any more people online. right? Same thing. What's South of Midnight going to gain? What did Hellblade 2 gain by going to PlayStation, right? Like most of the games that they put on there didn't gain Microsoft anything, you know. I mean, they can live on nostalgia for a little bit by remastering some of this stuff, but at some point that's going to end, right? I mean, they can't seem to get out any new games, and the new games that they do get out only are okay or good, right? But they haven't released anything like genre-defining or amazing. So, you know, that's going to be kind of a problem. So, anyway, I'll link this. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crep Gamer out.